Hey Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading. It's going to be a reading here from June 17th until the 23rd. I hope you're doing well. We're just going to go ahead here and get started and jump straight in. I do want to announce, of course, if you're interested in booking a personal reading with me, that link will be down below in the description. Let's jump in here, Capricorn. You did pull the Nine of Swords here in your challenge. Nine of Swords can deal with stress, worry, anxiety, tension. So I just feel like you feel overwhelmed, like there's a million things to do and a lot of things to figure out. It's interesting too, one thing I also pick up here as well is that it's not that you can't do the things that you're worried about or stressed about. It's just more so of just all the things that you're thinking about that it's just causing the overwhelm and stress. And it could even also be to where you hesitate or you slip into analysis paralysis, not full analysis paralysis, but to where you can just like start worrying and thinking. Let's see here, let's keep going. Oh, okay. Let's see here, Capricorn. All right. Let's pull your oracle cards and then we'll jump in. This is definitely an interesting week though, astrologically. I mean, for you, this is a big week. I mean, even coming up into next week, the sun that's in Cancer will be conjuncting Jupiter in Cancer, which will be in your 7th house. It will kind of make that square to Saturn and Neptune, which is in your 10th house right now, or sorry Capricorn, which is in your 4th house right now. So there could be things going on in regards to relationships and your home life, personal life, family. But this is an interesting week. You did pull the Nine of Swords here in the challenge. Now, you may not be feeling this now, but this could be an energy that you could be feeling throughout the week. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to give it to you straight. Because this week we do have the Sun square Saturn on the 22nd and then the Sun square Neptune on the 23rd, which you'll probably start feeling this energy around the 21st. Saturn deals with restriction, limitation. Also, Saturn is heavy, right? So it can feel things can feel heavy. You can feel blocked, restricted, emotionally frustrated. Let's see here. Yeah, look what came out, Saturn. See, y'all just think I'll be saying stuff. I know what I'll be saying. You pulled Saturn, which is interesting because Saturn is your ruling planet, so you do feel this energy a little bit more than other zodiac signs, or there's a bigger emphasis on it than other zodiac signs. But Saturn does deal with discipline, structure, responsibility, and it can also deal with challenges and blocks as well. And also too, we haven't even jumped into your reading, but you do have the Justice card here for the overall energy, which the Justice card can talk about karma, which I'll explain more here in a minute. And Saturn can also talk about karma. So you could be clearing something quite karmic in your life at this time, or just the accumulation of events has produced some type of result here that maybe wasn't what you were expecting. Probably wasn't what you were expecting. Let's see here. You pulled this Lost in Space card. It says needing direction here. Yeah, I think, I wouldn't be too hard on yourself here, Capricorn, this week. This is an energy that I feel everybody's kind of going through, specifically this week. It's interesting that we pulled Saturn and then this Lost in Space card needing direction, because with the sun that's going to square Neptune this week, Neptune is a planet that can bring disorienting energy when it's in square. Like Neptune, yes, it deals with imagination and creativity and spirituality. It can also deal with meaning as well. But when there's a square to Neptune, things can feel very confusing, foggy, unclear, disorienting. You can feel kind of as if you're lost. Things aren't making sense. Now, this is Cancer Aries energy, so this can bring like emotional frustration. So I would just be aware of that. Also, too, I would be aware of that from other people this week. I feel like the projections this week are going to be super high with the sun squaring Neptune. So just be aware of that here. But I think you're trying to find your way here. You're stressed. There's like a million things I see you trying to figure out. You pulled this Ascendant Masters card. It says create open communication here. Yeah, this card is about opening up to your guides, right? Asking for guidance, whether it's from someone who has the wisdom and the experience, which is very interesting because right beside this card you pulled the Hermit. And the Hermit is the one who has the wisdom, is the one who lights the way for other people, right, in times of the dark. sorry, in times of darkness, right? But this could be finding a mentor, teacher, or guide, or leaning on your mentors and teachers and guides, seeking out advice at this time. There's still a lot here in this reading we have to get to, but seeking out wisdom, advice from your guides, or this could be literally connecting to your guides, right? Or connecting to God, connecting to the divine, connecting to spirit, whatever it is that you believe in, and asking for guidance, right? So, yeah, all right, Capricorn, let's go ahead and jump into your reading. You pulled the Justice card here for the overall energy for your reading. Like I said, the Justice card can be karma, and so there could be something karmic here that you're clearing. I'm not going to say it's happening this week. This is something that's been ongoing, and so there's challenges possibly that you're trying to resolve at this time. I do feel like they will get resolved with the Justice card. Also, too, you know, the Justice card is, I always say, it's the cosmic scale of balance, right? So it's every action has a reaction, and our actions are always creating a ripple effect out into the world that always come back to us. And so I would just be aware of your energy, your thoughts, your intentions, and your actions at this time, because the Justice card wants you to come from a place of like doing the right thing, right? And so I feel like you're trying to do the right thing. And so as long as you're doing the right thing, I think you'll be all right, even though you're going through a challenging situation that could be testing you here. You pulled the Nine of Pentacles here in your current energy at this time. I like your current energy, though, entering into the week. Nine of Pentacles is being able to enjoy your life, right, from the hard work that you've done. And also the Nine of Pentacles signifies that you have resources at this time that are at your disposal that you can use. So if especially with the Saturn card here, if there's things here that you need to plan out or map out for this week, or things that you need to get on top of, I would definitely do it. I think even though with the sun that's going to square Saturn and the sun that's going to square Neptune this week, and then we also have Jupiter squaring Neptune, Jupiter, you know, starting to come off that square to Saturn, but it's still squaring Saturn. It's better to do something than nothing, but it's not about forcing things this week. But I do like the Nine of Pentacles being in your energy. And it's interesting too, because I feel like you're trying to plan here, but there's things that are difficult. So it's like you're trying to figure out plans for the blocks that you're dealing with. You have the Nine of Swords here in your challenge, and then you have the Tower as your advice here. The Tower as the advice is saying, don't try to cling on to things, the remains of the past. It's very interesting. Even if you look at the Tower, like what it symbolizes is, well, for one, the Tower is the reset button in the tarot, but it represents change. It represents change, and anything that's falling away in your life, anything that's falling apart in your life, or that's dissolving in your life, especially with Saturn on top of Neptune, let it go. I feel because it's interesting too, because the Tower can be symbolic of like you could be fearing with the Nine of Swords the worst case scenario, and I definitely think because of the sun square Neptune does deal with the imagination, and so this could bring up all types of fears. But I wouldn't let, you know, I think you're fearing that things are going to turn out horrible, but I don't think so. But I will say with the Tower, like, you know, the Tower is about change, so allow yourself to make changes. And it's interesting, you're not the person that you used to be. And I think a part of you is changing here, and so you may be wanting to make certain changes in your life, but maybe you're worried with the Justice card of other people judging you, because that's the Justice card, right? She's the judge, right? She judges what's fair and what's right. And so maybe you're afraid here of other people judging you about changes and stuff that you want to make in your life, or just about anything that you want to do in your life. And I think that could be the case because of the Cancer energy that's in your 7th house that's square the Aries energy. The 4th house, 7th house is like relationships, your personal life, and all that type of stuff. Could even be family. But the Justice card is like you have to be the one to judge for yourself. And if you're ready for a change with the Tower, you can't be afraid to disrupt the equilibrium. Because you could be in a situation that's not fair, right? Maybe you're giving your power away to things, or maybe you're suppressing your needs, suppressing your desires, suppressing your wants. think too, Capricorn, you're ready to go to the next level here with the Nine of Pentacles. Because what's after the Nine of Pentacles? It's the Ten of Pentacles. But what's the Tower? It's like, okay, maybe we've gotten too comfortable or something like that, or maybe we've gotten stuck and rigid in one way and it's time to change some things. You did pull the Ten of Wands here in the future position. I don't get necessarily that this Ten of Wands is a bad card at all. The Ten of Wands does bear responsibility though, so it can feel heavy. And again, you already pulled Saturn here in the reading, but the Ten of Wands, it's the burden of responsibility. It's you have a choice, right? You can always drop the responsibility, but if it's something that you actually believe in, you commit yourself to that because you know the payoff will be worth it, right? And so it's just what comes with it. And so I think here with the Ten of Wands, this is about you staying committed here to your journey, because I feel like there is a little bit of a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, like this week is kind of a struggle. The sun's gonna come into Cancer, which again, it's gonna square that Saturn, that Neptune. We're gonna have Mars that's gonna come into Virgo. It just came into Virgo today on the 17th. And that Mars will trine Jupiter or sextile Jupiter on the 22nd. And this is gonna give us optimism and a power boost, right? To be more decisive when it comes to taking action and be more optimistic and have more trust. But with the square to Neptune, it's like don't fuel an illusion, right? Like, because it's like you wanna channel that energy into, something that's real. So you pulled the Four of Cups here in the outcome position here. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Capricorn, with the Justice card being here for the overall energy. Don't be bummed out if something is delayed. I'm just gonna be real. I think, Sun square Saturn always brings delays, always brings challenges and blocks, and that's happening this week. So if something is delayed, don't trip about it. You'll be able to move through it. The Four of Cups, very interesting, is actually the archetype of Cancer. And that Sun's in Cancer, Jupiter's in Cancer, all squaring again that Saturn, that Neptune, to where it's like, yes, we want the growth and the expansion, but we also have to make hard choices, the Justice card. We have to deal with difficult things. And Aries Cancer energy, this is about inner control, inner self-control. This is not about trying to control the outside world. This is about taking full accountability, responsibility, and having to be self-reliant and having to deal with things that are emotionally tough, but understanding that you are tough and you'll be able to get through it. But the worst thing to do with this transit is to project it out onto other people, and I feel like that's a lot of what you're probably going to see this week. I'm not saying you're going to do that, but I feel like you're probably going to see that a lot this week. Like, people can't handle it. So they could be trying to project onto you here this week. You pulled the Hermit card for in the position of something you're unaware of that you need to be aware of. And this is very interesting that you pulled the Ascendant Masters card. It says create open communication. Because the Hermit goes off alone by himself to have solitude, to be able to connect to God, to be able to connect to the divine, to be able to connect to his guide, spirit. So he can find the answers. And so sometimes this could be like maybe you needing space and time away, Capricorn, so you can restructure things with Saturn here. So you can figure out, sort of the new changes you want to implement here with the Tower. But also sometimes the Tower too can be that maybe you've built up walls around yourself and it's time to break free from that. Time to move outside the comfort zone. The Tower is Mars. Mars disrupts the equilibrium. And it's very interesting that the Justice card is here because the Justice card represents equilibrium. So things have to change here. But I would say here with the Hermit, I would rely on your mentors, teachers, guides at this time, or even your own wisdom. There's so much I feel here, but there's a big difference between knowing, like, learning is not just about reading a book. Learning is not just about listening to a podcast. Learning is not just about, it's about mastery. It's like, what are you doing with what you've learned? It's like having to practically implement it. And if anybody knows how to do that, that's you, Capricorn. And so I feel like you're very wise. You have a deep understanding. And so now's the time to trust your own guidance with the Hermit. But also, too, if you're needing guidance, seek it out. Clarify the Justice card for the overall energy, right? Like, for an example, like, you could read all day about tarot, right? You could read all day about it, but then when you actually go to do it, it's a whole different ballgame. It's like, yeah, you know the knowledge, you have the knowledge of it, but it's through the practical application, the experience of it. That's when you really learn. Clarify the Justice card for the overall energy. And sometimes, well, anyways, I'll come back to that, Capricorn. Clarify the Justice card. You pulled the High Priestess here. Oh, shit. Very interesting. These two cards are similar in nature. The High Priestess deals with stillness and awareness. And the Justice card deals with discernment in regards to judging things and making decisions, taking into account how one thing is going to affect another. And so with the High Priestess here, this is just, I feel like this week is a week to be self-aware just of your energy and other people's energy. Like, this is where energies easily permeate into yours with Sun square Neptune, because Neptune is permeation. Like, it will just saturate things. And Saturn's there, so it's like trying to like put up boundaries, right? But it's just like that energy just dissolves it, right? So what do I mean by that? With the Sun being in Cancer, and it doesn't even have to be just because the Sun's in Cancer. Just the High Priestess Justice card in general, your overall energy is like just having discernment when it comes to understanding just how one thing is going to influence another thing. Like, just being aware of energy just in general. If you watch me, you know what energy work is, right? So this is more so kind of understanding the metaphysical part of reality. But you should be the one, based upon your own awareness and your own intuition with the High Priestess, be able to make decisions, being the one to make the judgments, right? Not on other people, but when it comes to you needing to make certain decisions, right? It's like you being the judge of truth for yourself. Does that make sense? Clarify the Nine of Pentacles in your current energy. You have the Four Swords here. You could be taking a break at this time, Capricorn. I don't think it's like Capricorn's always work, but I think with the Nine of Pentacles, Four Swords, what do you want to do next? Like, Four Swords is about contemplation, meditation, rest. It's rest so the mind can be able to recover, and not only recover, it's so that new things can come through. But if you're always constantly go, doing, you never have time for quiet stillness and meditation and contemplation and reflection to be able to really hear yourself or get new information, right? So I think you're taking some time out maybe right now, and you're thinking about your next moves. And I think with this Nine of Swords, it makes a lot of sense now in your challenge that you have to do something, or you're stressing, maybe worrying about the future or whatever. Let's actually clarify it. You pulled the Six of Wands here. You may be stressing about your success. This could also be your reputation as well with the Six of Wands. Maybe, because it's interesting, because the Nine of Pentacles is when you've accumulated success for yourself from your hard work. It doesn't matter how big it is, right? It can be small. But for you, it's like you're making progress and you've gained rewards from your work. Now you're wondering, Nine of Swords, Six of Wands being in the challenge, will you be able to sustain it? Do I need to say that again? You're wondering, I feel if you'll be able to sustain it, or you could be worried about what people are thinking about you, or maybe your reputation, Six of Wands and Nine of Swords. I think you will be able to sustain it. Or maybe you're just worried in general whether or not you're going to be successful with something, or if it's going to turn out well for you. Let's clarify the Ten of Wands in the future, because this is what matters, right? Let's clarify the Ten of Wands. You pull the Eight of Pentacles. Y'all just think I'd be saying shit. The Eight of Pentacles deals with the grind, it's work. But with the Ten of Wands, it's the responsibility, right? So for instance, I don't think we fear success. I think we maybe fear if we'll be able to sustain the responsibility that creates success, right? Because we have to trust ourselves. I think with this Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, this is you being able to sustain things. Again, like I said, the Ten of Wands asks or says that you could drop responsibilities, or you can keep going with them, right? Like, you have a choice, you can quit or not quit. But if it's something that you truly believe in, it's something that you want to dedicate your time to. Eight of Pentacles is mastery as well, but it's also the grind. It's also, you know, working, right, to sustain, but also to produce more fruits. Nine of Pentacles. So I do see you here working hard, still committed. You pulled Saturn here, disciplined. There's a lot of work I sense here this week, and just, but it's interesting too, because Eight of Pentacles represents development, and it can also be efficiency. So maybe you're learning here to be more efficient and how to get the most out of your time with the Justice card, High Priestess. Understanding, like, if I do this, this is going to give me this, but if I do that, then this is going to give me that. Clarify the Four of Cups and the outcome. You pulled the Seven of Swords here. Okay, I actually like this combination. Now, I do pick up, yeah, you have the Three of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. I like the Four of Cups. I don't like the Seven of Swords. I think with the Four of Cups here, you're becoming indifferent to the opinions of other people. Because what is the Seven of Swords? This can be gossip. This can be rumors. This could be just sneaky, shady energy. The Seven of Swords doesn't surprise me that it's coming out, because we do have the Sun square Neptune this week. And anytime there's squares to Neptunes, you can bet there's going to be some type of deception or some type of deceit, lies, sneaky stuff. And I just think here with the Four of Cups, it's just like you're indifferent toward it. It's like you're not letting it get to you emotionally. It may bother you, but I don't think it's not getting to you. So I would just ignore, you know, any type of energy that's trying to pull you down or anything. Clarify the Tower as your advice. You have the Ten of Cups here. Yep, this is disrupting. The Tower is disruption, right? I mean, just look at the card. And it's Mars. It's the archetype of Mars. And it's interesting, Ten of Cups is also the archetype of Mars, but it's Mars in Pisces. So what's being disrupted is, I think you're reorienting toward a higher meaning. It's almost as if maybe you've gotten exhausted or burnt out here, Capricorn, or maybe you're just realizing things need to change because it's not in alignment spiritually or emotionally anymore. And so what's happening, like, your advice is to realign yourself to what's meaningful. Like, make sure that your actions and all the tasks that you have to do and your goals and your ambitions are aligned with the higher meaning and purpose of your life, or with what you're trying to do. I think that's your advice here. But also, too, the Tower, Ten of Cups, it says stop worrying about yesterday. Stop worrying about tomorrow. Like, the Ten of Cups can represent the present moment, being happy in the present moment. Because things may not be that bad, right? It's just like, you know, there's still a lot to be grateful for. Nine of Pentacles. And so this is just about allowing yourself to be free, for one. Let yourself be free from the stress and the worry and the anxiety, and possibly, like, opinions of others here, Capricorn. And to just live your life. Clarify the Hermit, last card. Let's see. You pull the Knight of Pentacles here. Yeah. It's a steady application of wisdom. Steady, practical application of wisdom. So the Knight of Pentacles represents endurance, having to be practical, methodical, patient. But, you know, the Hermit it's also a reminder too that you're on a journey, right? Like, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so you're learning along the way, but taking what you've learned and practically, you know, continuing to implement it. But I would say too that if you're feeling as if you're stuck with the Knight of Pentacles, I would seek out a mentor or a guide or a teacher, someone here that you can rely on, someone that has the wisdom and has the experience that can help. So that's what I got for you, Capricorn, in your weekly reading. I appreciate you for watching. If you want to book a personal reading with me, again, that link will be down below in the description. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And otherwise than that, Capricorn, I'm wishing you the best for the week, and I'll see you later.